For more content like this, log on to gibbopresents.com.
It's Gibbo, and right now I'm joined by an artist who originally hails from Portmore and now resides in New York. He recently released his debut album, Land of the Free. Here to discuss it and much more, it is Autarchii. How are you?
Yes, I always there, man. We're just giving thanks to life, you know? The joy of life, see me. So, how is everything with you, Gibbo, you know?
Everything is great, thank you. You are the son of Donovan Joseph, and the late Crown Prince of Reggae, Dennis Brown, was also a relative of yours. Being born into a family like this, music must have always been a part of your life. When did you first begin to experiment and write and make music yourself?
Well, in terms of experimenting and writing music for myself, that I began writing at the age 11. Because there was somebody staying at my house. It was a musician from St. Lucia staying at my house to do some shows in Jamaica. And me and my sister and my cousin, all of us were shouting, "This is a big musician. So right now we need to go and write some song. Probably he can go and sign us." We were naive. But that was when we really, due to that naivety, we really came out and put pen to paper and we crafted words. And I think I can remember that first song at the age of 11. It was a song that said, "Lord, please forgive me for the wrongs I've done." So, after that, we kind of get to love the craft of writing, and we continue to do it.
So was being an artist a goal of yours before then?
No, it wasn't. I was a shy individual growing up, you know. I was always reserved and more into the educational side of things in terms of schooling and all of that thing. So for me, the spotlight was nothing for me at that time. Not even my father knew that I could sing.
When was the moment when your father found that out, when he discovered your talents?
Well, I was in New York recording with Wayne Smith and stuff like that, and then somebody told my father. And then when they told my father that I could sing, my father wasn't surprised, because my father always knew that the bloodline would rise up, so he wasn't surprised at all. And then we gradually, me and him started reasoning more about music, and I went to Jamaica to record Grow, which was his 1993 hit that I re-recorded. And from my father heard me record Grow, my father said, "Yes, this is it, and this is my son." So that was when it all started.
We'll touch back to Grow and the album in a second, but before we do, you mentioned the late Wayne Smith. You were fortunate enough to be a mentee of his. What were your main takeaways from the time that you spent with him?
Wayne Smith teach me so much. Wayne Smith literally went through the musical books and taught us about the history of him coming from King Jammy's to how the music industry is one that is corrupt, and you have to be careful of what you do. Don't get yourself into any contracts or stuff like that nobody reads over. He basically taught us about how to get certain notes in power, and all of the above. Wayne Smith was a genuine man. Wayne Smith, basically, I was in the studio every night with Wayne Smith recording, and Wayne Smith would tell me, "No, that doesn't sound good right now. Come again, you have more in you," and keep pressuring me. And that was along with a man called Kenton Sanderson. And when out of that is the Autarchii that you see today. And believe me, Wayne Smith really really inspired me as a youth, and the openness that he showed me as an unknown individual, believe me, it was amazing.
And that was during the time he was living in New York?
Yes, he was living in Bronx at the time.
Your cousin, I believe, gave you the name Autarchii, meaning absolute rule, power, or autocracy. Why did he choose this name for you, and why did you decide to embrace it and use it?
Well, initially I was reading the dictionary because I'm a Garveyite. I'm a proud Garveyite, and I studied the philosophies of Marcus Garvey. And Marcus Garvey said we must read the dictionary. So within my weekly doings of reading the dictionary, I came across this word, and I was like, this couldn't be an English word, because I never yet heard somebody mention this word before. This is so unique and so weird, peculiar I would say. So when I just shouted out the word, and they said, "Which word is that? Is that an African word?" I said, "No, this is an English word." I showed them the word from the dictionary, and everybody was stunned. And automatically I said, this, this sound like it fit me. And then the two of them, my cousin and the elder sitting there, say, yeah, of course, youth, you know, to say rule yourself. You're not too tech talk, and you always know which direction you're heading. So automatically, from that day, it was just Autarchii, and it was due to my creativeness where I changed the Y into II to bring in the Rastafari liberty, which means I and I. So naturally, I'm a self-ruler. My brother is a self-ruler likewise. So it's all about putting the balance of Rastafari and everything that we do. So that is how it came about, and that is an amazing story.
I'm glad you said that you had to look it up, because in the lead up to this interview, I did the same. I looked it up because I didn't know exactly what it meant. Now I don't feel quite as bad.
Yeah, man, that's how it goes on. That is life, the process of learning, and it's always something interesting. So best believe the word Autarchii is interested in itself, and it speaks of who I am, because at no time do I stoop to anybody at all. I rule myself. I am all about economic independence at all given time,
Today you reside in New York. When did you make the move stateside, and what was the reason for the move?
Well, my mother decided that my mother moved to New York when I was in high school in Jamaica. I went to Kingston College. And when in the year 2010, when I finished high school 2010, she decided that she wanted me to pursue a tertiary education in New York. And she wanted me to be closer to her. So, because in Jamaica, she's a lady, she's always worrying at times and stuff like that. So she wanted me to be in a freer mindset where I could focus on my studies and stuff like that. So I came to New York for schooling, per se.
Your album is titled Land of the Free. Was your single of the same name, which is included on it, or even the project as a whole, inspired by your move to and your experience in America?
Yes, the whole project is basically, is surrounded by events happening in America, and is surrounded by the effects of America on the world, and my outlook as an immigrant to the quotas, because really and truly this is our land still, but as they would put it in their books, as an immigrant, that is what the album is surrounded by. So some of them are more personal, around my direct first-hand encounter within this land, and some of them are more objective in the manner of what my people face on a daily basis within this land. Because it's Land of the Free, it's basically a play on words, because it really should have been Land of the Freak. But we say Land of the Free. So when you look into yourself and say, this is not really a free land, why did he say free? That's when you're going to go and listen to the project. See what I'm talking about.
What were your expectations of America and New York before you moved, and in which ways has your actual experience differed from your expectations?
Well, I have always been a rebel per se in my outlook. As I said earlier, I'm a Garveyite, and I always, from my father shares the same birthday as Marcus Garvey. So I usually tell myself that I am the son of Marcus Garvey. And with that being said, I realized that they kicked Marcus Garvey out of this country for speaking the truth. So even before coming to this country, I was conscious and fully aware that this is not really a first world country, because there's nothing that puts you in first place. It always puts you in last place or even further. So I was always aware. And so my outlook per se did not change, because I was aware of all of the injustice going on here already, and all of the things and the atrocities that were committed on this side of the world. So my outlook, this just kind of sharpened my brain, and this is what lead I more to Rastafari every day. So this kind of hired my instinct and my third eye per se within this corrupted system. So my outlook didn't really change.
Was it a difficult transition? Was there anything that you had to spend a little time getting used to, just in terms of everyday life, the way things run? I'm sure New York City is very different to Portmore.
Yeah, really and truly, you're right. Adjustments in the, all right, where I'm from a humble community called Christian Pen. And this is the garrison. This is the ghetto. So we all live like family in the ghetto. If I was hungry one day, I could walk to anybody's house and get food to eat. When I came to New York, I realized this is a dog-eat-dog world, where everybody only looks out for themselves. You realize that apathy is always is always humongous in New York City, and it's about just getting back and forth to work, coming from work. There's little interaction, no caring, no feeling for anybody. I'm not used to that. I'm used to love all around. So even if war going on in the place, I know that I still have my brothers who I can go and check, and when I am around them, I am safe. When coming to New York, it was all about fending for yourself and realize that, yo, this is a world where you can't afford to get lost. So that was the major difference.
Your father is credited as a producer on the album. How involved was he in the making of it?
Yes, well, my father is very involved in my music because I'm a person where I realize that my father have a lot of knowledge in music, and from realizing that every single song, even if I don't need to mention it to him, I mention it to him. What do you think about this harmony? What do you think about this vocals right here? How does this sound? Because I know that his ears does not miss. So involved per se, he was one who, whenever I sent a couple of the mixes to Jamaica, he would ensure that all of these mixes were on point, that the variations were right. He arranged for all of the girls to come and do harmony in Jamaica. So that was his involvement and moreover as an executive producer, you know.
The album includes your take on his single Grow, which you touched on earlier on. What struck me when listening to the album was just how relevant the message contained in this song is today. Do you feel that there is now more focus on wanting to bust as opposed to wanting to grow and better oneself than ever before?
Yes, no is the time, because it's a sense where every single thing is in the social stratosphere, the social media and all of that. So everybody just want to get the highlight, and no more than ever, sufferation is higher. So you realize that the connection, the correlation that sufferation has to these youths wanting to bust and not wanting to grow, they become more impatient. Everybody want to make a quick bread right now and not focus on the craft. So you realize that you have less incomplete songs. You have a reggae song coming out without bass line. Or you're gonna hear reggae without bass line. So you have all of these things. The youths falling off key, they're singing and they're going off key and all of these things. So yeah, no more than ever you realize that everybody want to bust and get in the spotlight and want to be the man. You're not realizing that if they spend their time and focus on the craft, they will get more and they'll reap more out of it. So no more than ever, you're right.
Do you think it's just a passing phase, or do you think this is the way things are going to be from now on?
No, it's a passing phase, because really and truly that's my duty. Because as what I always say is that you can't just blame the youths. Yeah, sometimes you have to come and set the example. So with a song like Grow, the song Grow itself is the example for them. So once they hear it now, they will look into themselves and realize that, you know, we really have to spend our time on our owners of craft, because if we don't, then we're gonna wither away. And we can't wither away. We have to be like trees that is planted by the rivers of water that beareth forth a fruit in its season, whose leaf shall not wither. So the song in itself is an example, and us as Rastafari youths carrying out the works is the example for them. So I don't feel like it's going to be that long-lived thing. I feel like it's just a phase where the youths probably trying to find themselves and they need to be the man, as I said before, due to the impatience and the sufferation. So moreover, it's a phase. I'm not a pessimist, you know. I'm an optimist who is realistic at the same time. And I realize that the youths, we always can change the thing for the youth. So we can't really sit down and say, oh, it's not going to change. We come to be the change. Yes, I.
Have you ever had a conversation with your father about what prompted him to write his version of the song originally?
Yeah, many a times, because from a boy growing up, you know, Grow was the most popular song that I knew of my father. And my father always sing it when he rise up, because sometimes my father wake, you can know when my father wake, you know. My father just want to be like the tree that is planted. Yeah, I said, Daddy, wake now, because I'm a singer now. So really and truly, what he was explaining to I was that upon his observation, he realized that if a seed was to bust upon a rock, it would never grow. Many seeds fall on rocks and they never grow. But when a seed fall into a fertile soil and water passes through regular, he realized that that seed must grow. It's not even a choice. So that was his explanation of the song. I mean, now I come and put it more in a modern flair, and then you realize that two of them add up just like 1 + 1, and that equal 2. Yes, I.
Although you have been around music for many years, you are still a young man. Was there any doubt in your mind as to whether this was the right time to release an album? Did you consider waiting a while longer, or did you know you were ready?
If you ask anybody at the studio this question, the first thing they will do is laugh. I've been telling them that we need to release an album because one of the major things that prompted me to release an album is, are you familiar with the singer Alien, right?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, so my thing was that coming up, Alien was one of my soulful singers, and whenever I tried to look for a catalog of Alien, it always upset me because I never really see a catalog for her. I have to go to search for 1111 songs. So from doing music, I said to myself, I am not going to let any true supporter of my music come and not see a catalog of me from early out. This is what Autarchii presented to me from early out. Land of the Free, what is the theme behind it? What is the thesis? Come on, this is Autarchii, this is what he stands for. And in one listen, I can listen and know everything that he stands for from the get-go. So that was my whole thought process that I realized that now is the time more than ever to release an album.
It's interesting you say that because in reggae, we don't really have as much as a tradition in some other genres of releasing albums, but even the artists who have released quite a few albums, some of their hits, or their biggest hits even, aren't featured on those albums for a whole variety of business reasons. So it's an interesting approach that you've taken.
So it's all because I went to study the Babylonian system. I purposely studied marketing because I wanted to know how does one market his music in the rightful aspect, and how does one get to reach the masses in the rightful aspect that he wants to. So it's all about marketing. That's what I realized, because you can have a good product but you never really market it the right way and it never really reach out to the masses. So putting something into an organized fashion from early out lasts for a lifetime. Let's believe that.
You're a member of the How Clear movements. Can you explain the meaning behind How Clear, which is an acronym, and introduce the other members?
So, moreover, How Clear stands for Heights of Wisdom, Know, Learn, Execute, and Rise. That's showing you that in order to reach the heights of wisdom, you must first know, learn, execute, then you will rise. So, it's a philosophy where far in the future, he started his thing called Clear, which is Know, Learn, Execute, and Rise. And I came up with the concept of Heights of Wisdom. So we mesh it together to show the purpose of the unity, and you realize the flow of what life stands and the purpose of life. So when all these things combine together, you realize that you get one perfect love and one perfect unity throughout the thing. So that's the whole concept, and that's so, because I met him in 2014, and immediately we started recording songs together and holding vibration together as two Rastafari dreams. So that's how we came up with the concept. Aside
from music, you're also a part of Chatterbox, an online Caribbean panel talk show. Can you go into some more detail about the concept and explain what the goal of the show is?
Well, Chatterbox is a Caribbean talk show series where they talk about issues that are affecting men and women throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world from a Caribbean perspective. So the founder, her name is Reina. She contacted me because I went to college with her. So she contacted me and said she didn't know that I have an article vibes, and she really wanted to come and give her a perspective as Rastafari hygiene to all of these issues. So naturally, we couldn't turn down that offer. So we have to go there and show them the reasoning. And thus far, people are really tuning into it, and people love the Caribbean perspective, because you know the Caribbean diaspora is a large one as Africans in the Western region. So people are really tuning into it and catching the vibration. And believe me, some of the reasoning that shows you the perspective of different individuals, and show you that you cannot be narrow-minded, because what you think or your truth is not necessarily the next person's truth. So you have to realize that sometimes you have to really listen and be keen and be observant. That's what Chatterbox showed me. So yes, sir.
And that's up on YouTube now, if anyone watching this interview would like to go and take a look. Before we finish, is there anything else you would like to mention, or anyone that you want to big up?
Well, when it comes to big up, we have a whole heap of people now. We big up all the youth them in a Christian pen. Big up youth them 51st, Brooklyn, all of the KC Hygiene them same way. Because I really and truly, think tank studios, because that's where all of the songs were recorded in the album. And we give thanks to Indie Roots, Bobby, so for really getting us all of these rhythms. Because if you notice here, if you listen to 15 tracks, all of them are live rhythms. And Indie Roots produced 9 on the album, along with my father too. So you realize all of these are live rhythms, and when I heard these rhythms, most of these songs came on one go, and some of them are on the album are even freestyles. So really give thanks for that vibration. So yeah, bless up the whole massive at large, man, who really support Autarchii and continue to motivate I daily. And we give thanks to Rastafari in the chat in the same way. You see it?
Land of the Free, Autarchii's debut album, is available now for digital download and on CD. Go out, purchase a copy, take a listen, and support good reggae music. Autarchii, thanks a lot.
More love, Fireball. Strength up. Yes, I. Anand.
Gibbo presents